If you had the choice, would you join the Savlar Chem Dogs? Formed of the desperate, the immoral, and the undesired, the warriors that form part of one of the many penal legion regiments press-ganged into service by an increasingly desperate and war-ravaged imperial mankind, is the aforementioned Savlar Chem Dogs. Although made up of the dregs of society, such martial operatives have the upside of being an effective fighting force. Hard living among the scum of humanity, such members of the species are known to be quite tenacious, remorseless, and outright dirty fighters. They utilise a myriad of martial strategies that some regiments would never consider utilising. It is simply beneath them to use such strategies of war. Some may even consider the acts performed by the Savlar Chem Dogs as war crimes. That is, if such a thing existed in a time of unending warfare and devastation. A regiment consisting of the depraved and forgotten are recruited to fight in the most hellish of environments, most notably in living memory that ravaged and embattled world of Armageddon. Given the instruction that they may keep what they loot, that is, if they survive contact with the enemy, such soldiery consider fighting in the claustrophobic confines of the lower levels of hive cities almost like being at home. However, rather than facing off against rival gangers or squads of abhumans on Armageddon, it is a matter of species survival. The Savlar Chem Dogs are not known for an unnatural affinity for bravery. Instead, most of their zeal is chemically imbibed. Whereas most human servicemen of the Astra Militarum would balk and run at the sight of an onrushing orc horde, or flee in a recent addition of demons into that hellscape mix, the Savlar Chem Dogs have their sense of fear neutered by such exotic concoctions. Most of their war gear is stolen or procured from other regiments. Generally, if a guardsman is dead, they have no need of a lascar. Broken vehicles have weapons repurposed or armour plating replaced with scrap pieces of plasteel or deck plating. Such ingenuity does not go unnoticed, however. The savage hand of a commissar in command of such regiments are known to execute soldiers on sight if they are found to be desecrated ruined war gear and the bodies of the dead. If you were to stem from the Savlar system, you would know of a desolate world only valued for the chem deposits that exist in poison-racked mines on the surrounding moons, and a planet inhabited by a devil's coterie of thieves, murderers, and traitors. The more the moons are mined, the more toxins are released into the atmosphere that poison the populace, hence the regiment name. After many years of failing to provide the necessary tithe to the Greater Imperium, those facilities on those moons were repurposed into penal colonies. The gangs that called that place home were instead put to work in the hazardous facilities, not willing men and women, but the undesirable of society. After an immediate need for fighting men and women, however, the regiment was born by the machinations of a senior arbitrator of the Adeptus Arbites. Armageddon currently sees them fight a near-endless horde. The orcs there seek to retake their ancestral home of Armageddon, and they will do so at any cost. No amount of technology can stop them, for what the Imperium needs now is exactly what it has in abundance: manpower. Trusted with only the basic of weaponry due to their supposed tech heresy plundering, the regiment of the Savlar Chem Dogs are thus armed with flamers and heavy bolters mainly, perhaps even a recycled transport or two. For heavier foes and for embattled enemy positions, they are sometimes issued with heavy artillery, sentinels, even perhaps a hallowed name and rust battle tank. Their rebreathers, once used to filter out the noxious toxins present on Savlar, have now been reutilised to infuse hyper-aggressive stimulants into their filtered air mix. Your time among the regiment may well be short. Your chances of outliving a single engagement are limited by your capacity to kill without remorse. If, chance permitted, you survive to be promoted to squad leader, it simply means that you get a greater share of the loot. However, watch your back, for one man's loot is another man's murderous plunder. So, better to keep two blades handy at all times, one on the front of your repurposed lasgun facing the enemy, and the other one sheathed and close to your hip at all times, in case one of your section gets ideas on that latest rebreather that you found. Is such a way of life more suited to your tastes? Will you spit in the face of fear? Will you face the horrors the galaxy in the Great Rift can throw your way and simply stare back at it and run at it with a repurposed lasgun and rusty bayonet? If the answer is yes, would you join the Savlar Chem Dogs? Thank you once again for listening. Please like, share and subscribe and stay notified for any future releases on my channel. And as ever, thank you once again.